Welcome back to the channel, lads and ladies, and welcome to a snooper sneaky episode of Toshiothunder. Snooper sneaky? Whatever, roll with it. So, we're going to be playing the Ru251 today, and as usual, I've found that this vehicle is an absolute pleasure to drive. I really do need to make a custom camo for Ru251. I'm thinking maybe Sonic, gotta go fast. So maybe we'll do that. Maybe something else. I'm a big fan of the Sonic and Knuckles cartridge from the old Sega Genesis days. In case you're unaware, it was a game that you could plug other games into, and very fascinating results from performing that operation. Something you can't really do anymore these days. Now you just download the expansion pack once you've paid for the $50 season pass. But Sonic and Knuckles was a little bit different back in the day. It was a cartridge that you opened up the top of the cartridge and you could plug a Sonic 2 or Sonic 3 cartridge into it, and it would change the game, and you could play either that Sonic game with different changes to the game itself, or you could play Sonic and Knuckles with different things in the Sonic and Knuckles game because you plugged Sonic 2 or 3 into it. You could even go straight from, I believe, you could go straight from Sonic 3 into Sonic and Knuckles and carry your victory all the way through. Fascinating piece of kit, a peripheral that acted as an entire standalone game. That is expansion packing done right. But this is completely unrelated to what I'm actually talking about today, other than we gotta go fast. So here we are already in the capture point, and you can see from the map that we are far, far ahead of our team. I'm from far, far south. Sorry, anybody get that one? John Leguizamo, why does he not make movies anymore? I don't know, maybe he just grew up. But in any event, we've captured the sea point, which really completes our mission for this mission. All I expect out of Ru251 is to get me a capture. And then I have the narwhal in this lineup, and whether I'm at 6-7 or 7-7, and I honestly can't remember which lineup I'm running right now, the Ru251 and the narwhal are like peanut butter and jelly. they just go together. Or like pesto and noodles. Oh yes. Or like schnitzel and gravy. There we go. Now you're talking. I used to work at a German restaurant called the Blue Heron Bistro, and it was owned by an elderly Dutch man who is an absolute delight of a person. He's old-fashioned. He unironically wears suspenders. And he's just a really cool guy, and he doesn't take crap from anybody. There was an incident where he ended up having a bunch of angry feminists protesting outside of his restaurant because, I don't know, they didn't... The easiest thing to do is to outrage a feminist. They're just looking for an opportunity. And we take down that magak. No reactive armor on his sides there. So it reacted normally by turning into liquid and hot magma. So, my old boss at the Blue Heron, before I worked there, he got into trouble with some feminists, and they're protesting outside his restaurant. So I thought, you know what, these ladies just need to cool off. So he stood on the roof of his restaurant with a garden hose, and he sprayed them down. And in case you were wondering, yes, you get into trouble for that kind of behavior on the Oregon coast. But I love it, because outraged feminists are the most disgusting group of people you will ever meet. They don't hold themselves accountable, and I believe that Scent Mark 1 got a look at us, so he's caught our scent, as it were. Yep, he's definitely looking right for us. It's a good use for the binoculars, just get a little more height on your view. So here's a sneaky trick we do. We lay down some smoke, and as soon as you pop smoke, you want to get out of the way, because chances are somebody's going to pop a shot right where you were. So we're getting out of the way, and now we're ducking, careful now, below his line of sight. And so let's go back to the blue heron while we're repositioning ourselves. You can tell what I'm doing. So I was hired by and trained by literally my best friend. So Adam, bud, congratulations. He just became a dad to a precious little baby girl that looks just like his wife. So dodged a bullet on that one. She doesn't look like you ugly mug. But here we come, up on the side of that Scent Mark 3, and he doesn't even know where we are. He's expected us to come out of the smoke, and boy, we did, but it was from a different direction than he anticipated. And let me tell you, when you're in a mobile vehicle like or such as the Ru251, you can really use that mobility to your advantage. Now we're behind both this AMX-13 and the little American light tank, and we take him down with one shot, hull break. Now we've got a chance at the AMX-13, and he knows there's trouble on the horizon pretty wisely. Takes off, but we managed to snag a piece of ammunition with our heat blast, and now that ammo always blows up, praise the Lord that has been adjusted, because that makes heat and heat FS a lot more effective, along with countless other ammo types, which is really helpful for a light tank like Ru251, where you really can't survive a hit. And with the base cap and 4 kills already, my goodness, we're just gonna hang out on this lovely cottage's side here and pretend that we're a cable repairman and hope that the enemy doesn't notice us. Now you can see that our team has also filtered through. We're holding a good front line, and they've it looks like we have a heavy tank, possibly a Tiger 2H if I'm not mistaken, pushing toward the enemy's spawn, perhaps lying in ambush. Now it looks like they've stilled themselves behind that hill. Not a bad decision by any means. And working at the Blue Heron was a great pleasure of my life. It's hard work, in case you didn't know, cooking in a decent restaurant, and we were not heavy on staff. It was usually 1 or 2 cooks in the kitchen. More commonly one. We take down the cannon breach on that AMX-13, so we know that we have plenty of time to take that second shot, finish off the crew. And we noticed that Crusader AA. We didn't know what he was because he's all booshed out, but we know he's dangerous. So thinking about trying to plop one over that hilltop, but our muzzle velocity is just too high to dip around down onto our foe. We were hoping that with just a touch we could get a hull break, but well, things are just going to have to go differently. As we go to flank him while he's engaged, he gets taken down. Excuse me. So, all that is to say, coming back to the previous story, I learned to cook the good German food. And oh man, there's nothing like fresh schnitzel. Speaking of, as we take a shot that overpens our armor, I don't even know where that came from. You can see I'm looking around for the enemy that hit me. There's an M41 over there, I believe. There was the one that got us, and he puts another one through the turret, doing no serious damage. That gives us just enough time to fire on the move, as it were, taking down a couple of his turret crew, and a key thing here, we took down his cannon breach. Now he's backing rapidly. We miss our first shot as he pulls away from the engagement zone. Now we're leading more heavily, going for the engine, and we managed to take down the last of the turret crew. So, that being our 6th kill, as we talk about the Schnitzel. Schnitzel is a neat piece of culinary kit. You take a piece of soft, light meat, such as pork loin, which I which I prefer, by the way. Or if you want to be kosher, you can use chicken breast, as they do in the Israel. The way they do schnitzel in Israel is pretty much similar to the German style I learned, as there's quite a bit of German culture that came with the Israelis. Except they use chicken, obviously. Pork is not a kosher meat. See, it does not have the split hoof and chew the cud, as it were. However, you pound out the chicken till it's flat, and the flatter the better, because that means you're going to get more crispy. Nice, crispy, crunchy crust. So nice and flat, just about, maybe 5 or 6 millimeters thick. Maybe, let's see, about less than half an inch. You want to go more like a quarter of an inch. I don't know how much a millimeter is, obviously. Yeah, maybe 6 or 7 millimeters. Anyway, no, less than that. I don't know millimeters. Leave me alone. So you pound it flat is what I'm saying, and you'll notice that when you're pounding out that soft meat, there's a good chance that you're gonna tear. So a skilled Schnitzelmaker, and that is a dead Doom Barn, unfortunately. Eine skilled Schnitzelmaker. He will pound the meat very flat, yeah, but he will not tear the meat. And you just kind of get a feel for it. There's a cellular structure to muscle tissue that you sort of take advantage of, and you learn your way. And it's a lot easier with pork because it's a little bit more oily and supple for that center cut pork loin. Would you say that's about 1,200 meters? Let's just adjust our sight here. Let's see, we scoped it. It said it was more than 1,000, so I'm thinking 1,200. There, we adjusted it, and nicely, just above where we were thinking, but nicely takes out the crew of that. The British thing that has a really boxy structure, and it has a derpy gun mantlet. Vickers Mark 1? Vickers MBT. Anyway, so you pound the meat flat and wide, and then you bread with you pound it out. Then you sprinkle some lemon pepper on it for flavor. Tasty stuff. Personally, at home, I like to use garlic salt because that's just my preference, but lemon pepper, lads and ladies. Also, lemon pepper often has MSG in it. I can't handle the MSG. Cooking with Toshio. So you pound the meat flat, you sprinkle seasonings on it, then you bread with your typical flour, and then egg wash, which can be eggs beat together and mixed with cream, or you could just do the eggs. And then you top it, you finish that breading process with a mix of garlic breadcrumbs and crispy panko breadcrumbs, and that makes it really crispy. And the final step to making this delicious meat cookie is to get a pan nice and hot with preferably lard or heavy oil if you have to, but lard is far superior to a heavy oil. And in case you don't like the sound of the word lard, it's what candles are made out of. It's good stuff for you. In fact, because it's a heavy oil, the breading absorbs less of it, and that allows it to be much more crispy and tasty, and also you get less fat out of that cooking process. So don't be afraid of lard. Lard's good stuff. Eat a big old tub of lard. Come here, Tina. Get your dinner. Sorry, did I get distracted? Anyway, we got 7 kills. It was an incredible match in the Ru251, and you learned how to make schnitzel. So you get that lard nice and hot until just before it starts smoking, and you'll get a feel for it. And we're talking like medium heat here at this point when you're cooking the schnitzel. And you drop your schnitzel in carefully. Now it's a big flat object. You need to place it into the pan in such a way that it enters the lard rapidly but doesn't spill over. So use your judgment. And we got taken down there finally by a Frenchy boy in the AMX, whatever it is. And that is going to be just about the end of the match. Let's see what we respawn in here. As I finish teaching you how to make the schnitzel. What do I respawn in? I'm thinking leopard. Yeah, I don't think I really do anything at this point, but the leopard is a beautiful vehicle that I think is a bit slower until you get the engine upgrades, and we haven't gotten the engine upgrades yet. So you cook that schnitzel until the bottom side is a nice golden brown, and you can tell because the little side that you can see will start to turn, and then you need to carefully but expertly flip the schnitzel without breaking the crust, and that's really where the pro skills come in. And let it finish cooking on the other side, and then serve with mashed potatoes, gravy, steamed vegetables. Tasty stuff. And traditionally, pickled red cabbage, which, by the way, is pretty delicious. I'm not into the pickled cabbage in the form of sauerkraut normally. It's a sauerkraut, but I am partial to pickled red cabbage. It's quite delicious. Anyway, guys, that just about does it for this video. There's really no point in watching me be useless in the Leo while the points drain from our team. Unfortunately, not able to pick up a win, but that's just fine. We were going for 2,000 score, and as you can see, we just made it with 7 kills and 2 base caps, which, if you ask me, is rather ridiculous. Tank rewards are a lot smaller than they ought to be, and it comes down to what you get points for. Honestly, think you should get more points for kills, and you do get enough for base caps. I think that's just fine. Anyway, lads and ladies, catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.